Hello dear Ronins, welcome to Ronin Hood. Today it will be a second edition review about the Hannya katana from John Lee. Here the summary. First, the seller is katanasamurai.com. It's a French seller in Europe and they sell Hannya product from John Lee brand. So here you can see what it looks like. It's a long nagasa of 74 centimeters. It's 1095 carbon steel. And it's a representation on the koshirae of the Oni demon Hannya. So here 1200 grams written on the website, 75 on the nagasa centimeters. And we will see what are the measurements that I have taken from my model of the Hannya that I have from 2020. So it's around 6 years, from 6 years now. You have the second seller that sell the same product. And here the topics of Hannya in Japanese folklore often portrayed by no plays. The Hannya was once a beautiful woman. Some tales claim that her lover betrayed or abandoned her, while others contend that he merely scorned her. Either way, she feels so much anger and jealousy that the emotions consume her soul and turn her into a demon. Her face is unrecognizable, but she sometimes maintains her beautiful human body. The demonic Hannya is on a quest for vengeance and will kill and eat the humans who have wronged her. This is the origin and history of the Hannya mask. So here, the sword, opening the box, and now we will see the measurements. So you can see there is a beautiful hamon visible with the Azuya stones. Here the tsuka with all the measurements, Kashira with the mask of Hannya, Ito cotton without Ishigami, battle ready Tumekugi Hana. This is the Omote side view, because on this sword Omote and Ura side view are different. So here this is Ura side view with Menuki, also Tumekugi Hana of course, and Fushi. Here you see the Fushi is different. Abaki, Seppa and Tsuba 7.07 and 7.93. Here you can see a low Shinogi Suji and a very beautiful Tsuba that didn't move. Abaki also. And here you can see the age. It's a Midare Amon. Like I said, here they made the Amon with different tones between the blade and the Amon. Most of the time the opaque tone is more on the Amon. Here it's the opposite. The opaque tone is on the core of the blade. Shukisaki, edge is very sharp. Yorimune is Ikue as always. Saya Inden, it's a very basic saya with just wood. You can see all the little scratches on the wood with all my noto. Sometimes wrong noto, but because there is no buffalo horn, sometimes it's difficult when you go fast. It's damage a little bit the wood. However, it's perfectly working still on these present days. Here you can see the kurigata also with wood, with shitodome, but no buffalo horn. Nothing moved so much during 6 years. I really enjoy this sword, so I don't want to spoil you, but this second edition is really important because I was not so skilled 6 or 7 years ago, and now it's really different and I have another perspective to show you all the details of this sword and all the possibility for someone that should be 1.75 m for matching with this measurements, special measurement of this sword. Here the sword, all the measurements here, Nagasa 70 54.3, carbon steel 1095, and weight 1066 grams, 14.8 for POB, 3.1, 2.2 for Sakihaba, Motokasane 7.3, 5.7, and now Kyon.
I used the Hannya in handling 3 because too long Nagasa and too long Tsuka.
So handling 3 is 2 finger space between your upper hand, and the Tsuba between 1 hand space and more depending on Tsuka length, bottom of the Tsuka Kashira. It's useful for Chulong Nagasa Tsuka for your size, C2 middle balanced blades, matches with specific postures and footwork footprint that helps for rigid wrist with narrow Hasuji angles and easier motion cut blades throw. Matches perfectly with C1 and C3 balanced blades. Advantages of handling 3 with brands Yarino Ando, Zesei, Dragon King, Moto Ara. Every details in my wave method, Tamashigiri e-learning for beginners on Teachable.
And I have a great feeling with that sword. The weight, the balance, it's a great product. I really appreciate John Lee because their balance of their blade are really pretty awesome in my personal opinion and feeling, because the feeling with a blade is really important. It's about how you feel because of your skeleton and joint comfort and your morphology. People with morphology really straight, like Japanese, they have a like really great shape of skeleton. Everything is perfectly gratefully in order, so they don't have like this tendency to be like a bulldog, you know, like a C. So maybe me, I have no so much a great morphology. I'm a little bit like a C, like boxer. When you practice like striking art for decades, you look more this way than the perfect swordsman that have a perfect straight skeleton. I do what I can, but this sounds to me pretty good. I have personal great feeling, even it's too long for me. Now I can use it because of handling 3.
See, here you can see a draw, then a kesa, gyaku kesa, and migi kesa, and shibori. And now you can imagine the target and see the Hasuji trajectory, making different cut.
I was doing kesa gyaku kesa 2 times, making 4 cuts.
One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is an excellent exercise to visualize where precisely in front of you with your omote, where are you cutting, and sometimes you can miss one cut. So migi kamai, idai kamai, kesa gyaku kesa, and suihei. Gyaku kesa, suihei and kesa, and gyaku kesa, suihei, kesa.
Hannya is a C2. That means that the blade of Hannya is pretty well balanced from here to here.
So this is where is the major weight of a C2 balanced sword. Here you can visualize and understand where is the C2 blade. C2 use more your back muscle.
So that means that I have really much weight to the middle and more of the blade. So when I handle it, it's easier to move up because my hand is closer than the middle of the weight distribution. Because the weight distribution is on the front, I have leverage effect. And for me, it's a better balance because it not about the effective weight, but the impression of the weight. The impression of the weight is really lighter, and for me, it's really more smooth.
So this is here a Shudan Kamae with the C2 blade. You can see how is your skeleton joints muscle tip posture with the vertical pressure and the horizontal extension and transversal extension hips tip. So you can see on the sword major weight of the balance type of the sword and the minor weight of the sword. So that's why I like so much the C2 centered at the middle of the blade. This type of weight distribution is for me like the best, because you have enough material to go through the target and you feel really good on your posture and physical condition. So the major weight of the balance type of the sword and muscle used for it, you can see you have the shoulders, the back muscle, the abs, your butt, and muscle used for supporting the global weight in yellow, and on green minor weight of the sword, and you have on black vertical, horizontal, and transversal extension for supporting the blade and holding the weight of the blade on Shudan Kamae.
Here, if I do the same, I have all the weight that is stuck from here to here. So everything is on my waist most of the time and on my back.
Now Tamashigiri cuts. So we will start with this one, Tsubame Gaishi. Then I had an incorrect posture with this Kawasemi, and then 1 point with this beautiful Tombo. Then Mizugaishi, 1 point because I had the effective cut but incorrect posture, slice motion, and Hasuji. And another Tombo, very nice, with a shorter piece of omote, so more difficult. Really beautiful. And here, Nuki Uchi, with the 3 type of Nuki Uchi of Kesa, Suihei, and Gyaku Kesa. And I had 8 Nuki Uchi that I was able to practice on one omote. One miss, but I don't count it because all the form and the type of Nuki Uchi were well executed on this performance. So it was really enjoyable to practice with the Hannya, because now I'm able to manage the 2 long Nagasa and 2 long Tsuka with a correct posture. It's not hurting my back, because when you have 2 long Nagasa you can hurt your back. So I recommend to always practice with sword that match with your size on the Tozando white side, always. Even on the weight, if you don't want to hurt yourself, it's really important. So here it was a success point. Action replay. You can see you have some katate and some Nuki Uchi, because always keeping safety on my practice. So when I don't feel it, I feel on katate better. Here, a double cut, really beautiful. Now Niten Mizugaishi, 1 point, really clean, really well executed. I was feeling really great with John Lee instead of the Tanuki. Here, with some pieces, a reconstitution of this combo of Niten with Nuki Uchi, then a second Gyuku Kesa, and then a draw with the other sword. Here you can see all the batto jutsu minor cuts with some Nuki Uchi of Suihei, some kesa, kesa on different quad. So I was feeling really great on this experience with the Hannya John Lee. The blade was really smooth, really well getting into the material. My body was like feeling really great. I really enjoyed this experience, and I think it was necessary to give that second edition with the complete picture and the possibility of my present skill in comparison on what happened 6 years ago, because I was a beginner. You can see Nuki Uchi of Suihei. Everything is smooth, perfectly getting into the material. Whatever the size of the piece of omote is getting through with great precision. It's important to understand that cutting omote is not the same that a sword for combat, because it's not asking the same technical abilities. Suihei, and now kata minor cuts. So here on this kata with Nuki Uchi of Suihei and then kesa. It was really enjoyable to practice kata with this sword because it should be technically more difficult, because too long nagasa, especially for Nuki Uchi. But I had great feelings. I was not feeling out of a safety zone, and it was naturally getting to kata, because I practiced kata before and with Warakiri Batosai and after my lesson with Warakiri Batosai. And for me, it's important that kata should be executed in Tamashigiri too. So to understand every situation and to be able to make every cut practical on a target. So you can see globally almost all the 8 kata of the style Toyama Ryu. Of course, some cuts are more difficult than other, because when you draw on the first kata of Toyama Ryu, you draw, the first draw is in the direction of the hip and not from your back leg. So it's so difficult that it's almost impossible to cut totally through the omote. But with time, I practiced, and now I'm able to do it. You have seen here, and you will see in another review with another sword. I really appreciate practicing kata because it's another type of focusness, because you have to move, your footwork, so it's a bit more difficult because your footwork evolve. In comparison, when you practice Tamashigiri, your 2 feet are on the floor, shouldn't move, and then realize you cut. So it's really more difficult when it's dynamic and you have to work, to walk, and change your path and realize properly the cut. Here with the third cut of the third kata, you have to make a tsuki, and then you have to put a kesagiri, and now suemonogiri. So omote 1, omote 2 were successful on beginner easy mode. If we count every point, it's a 30 on 20, because 6 omote 9 points. On a hard mode, it's just one try, 1 point, so it make 4 points on 6 omote, so it should give a 13.3 on 20. At my level, I should evaluate myself on a hard mode, so I should practice a little bit better and more often my kawasemi and mizugaeshi, because on this practice they were not okay on posture, slice motion and hasuji. So shape 8, size 7, grip 8, sturdiness materials 7, safety 8, design 7, quality materials 8, weight 8, healthy for waist joint 8, maneuverability 8, good value for money 8, blade Nagasa 7, steel 9, sharpness 9, weight 8, geometry 8, weight distribution balance 9, sturdiness 8, armor 9, curve 8, good value for money 8. This sword is really great. It's a 8, but with a good swordsman it's a 9, because I think the geometry of the blade is really great for cutting omote. So saya, it's a 7 for the safety, grip 7, sturdiness material 7, design 7, quality materials 7, weight 7, good value for money 7. The saya is just basic and has no protection with buffalo horn, so it's just basic, but with a correct swordsman, advanced or more, there is no problem. For beginner, I would give a saya a bit more secured with more safety, but for me it's a practical 9. Tameshigiri note 9, batto-do note 9, nite note 9, good value for money 9, because with someone that has experience as a cutter in Tameshigiri, this sword is really practical and really great for getting into omote. So in comparison with the Totanuki from Huawei swords, this sword is really much better for, in my opinion, for Tameshigiri. So for me it's a great sword. So it took me 6 years to understand deeply this sword. You remember maybe the first edition in 2020. So I was just beginning. Since a year I started this YouTube channel, and it was my second sword. It was my first practical sword because I was not happy of the first swords of Yareno Hanzo practical Musashi, and this sword was the first that was really sharp. I think it was a sword between really sharp and razor sharp, from the new state. Now it's still very sharp, and it can cut, and I never resharpen it. Since 6 years I never resharpen it, so it's perfectly cutting after tens and tens of omote. So I'm really happy of this sword, and you can remember here the picture of the first review, and you can see how my skills evolved. Even I had a better experience with this sword than with the Musashi Practical that I bought Musashi Practical in 2019, after my first experience in Tameshigiri in Japan, in the Samurai experience in 2018. So for me it was the first neat and clear experience of basic cut, even with a beginner that has not the experience of correct posture and doesn't know how to deal with the sword in matter of slice motion, angles and posture, and how to handle properly a sword. But I think from my perspective now, I was not so incorrect, even on basic cut and on safety with this sword in 2020. But the major problem that I had, and I can see here, is that I was not able to handle it because it was a too long Nagasa, so it was a bit touching the floor. So I deal better now with that because I got experience. So it's a sword for someone that is 1.75 meters and more, for having no problem with the Nagasa length. So I do not recommend to practice with it if you are 1.65 meters like me. Exception made if you are a really advanced or expert swordsman. You can remember in 2022 the razor sharp taste episode. and this sword had a great result in the razor sharp test. That's why I think it was a sword between very sharp and razor sharp. So for that, again, it was a great product. And now the second edition annual review with all the performance in 2026, and you can see how things evolved during these 6-7 years of practice and with this great sword. I hope you appreciate this episode, this second edition. I wish you to stay focused, peaceful mind and body healthy, and see you soon in the next episode in Ronin Hood.